The president of Harvard University, Claudine Gay, is going to be testifying in front of Congress following the recent controversies that took place in Harvard. Now, many of us parents want our children to go to Harvard, but really, how is life at Harvard? How is the recruitment going of faculty who were creating the world's best? How is it now? The answers will shock you. I have a small slide deck to share with you, but this is what Bill Ackman of Pershing Square, he's a very, very famous, very rich man. He's a venture capitalist, and they have funding. They have funded many companies that dot the Fortune 500, that are actually pushing the landscape in terms of technology and what have you. So Bill Ackman has summarized what he has heard from various people in the Harvard University, and they are all afraid to have their names mentioned because of getting cancelled. So this woke culture has taken a deep hold in Stanford. In fact, you may have also seen on social media how MIT professor is being hurried to finish his lecture so a protester can come and start shouting slogans. This is ridiculous, guys. It's a waste of the students' money. They don't need to listen to these guys. They can go and shout in the town square and let all the interested students go and listen to them. They can't be invading classrooms. This is how low university education has sunk to in the United States. Many of you are spending your life savings sending your children to United States for education. You may want to think it over. Just watch this video till the end. Here we go. Bill Ackman has renewed his criticism of how things are going at Harvard University. The person to my right, or the person to the left, is Bill Ackman, and the person to the right is Claudine Gay, the president of Harvard University. Now, the first danger sign here is that free speech. Harvard consistently finishes in the bottom quartile, which means, like, if you divide the things into 4 quarters, the lowest quarter is the bottom quartile of FIRE's free speech rankings. In the 2023 academic year, Harvard was ranked last out of 254 universities with a rating of 0.00, the only university with an abysmal speech climate. After sending the letter, Ackman reached out to the faculty to reconcile free speech absolutist commitment with Harvard having the lowest free speech ranking of any university. So people are afraid to speak their mind. Why? According to Bill Ackman, identity protected faculty had a lot to say. That means, don't quote me, but this is what is happening, that sort of stuff. The following slides are the result of the faculty's remarks. Guys, Dr. Swamy has been rough handled by Harvard, and that was in 2006, 17 years ago. You can imagine how bad things have become since then. Faculty's remarks on free speech. Years ago, Harvard stopped being a place where all perspectives were welcome. So not all angles, not all perspectives are welcome. It's only somebody who's setting this agenda and driving it forward. Harvard is a place where loud, hate-filled protests appear to be encouraged, but where faculty and students can't share points of view. Harvard became a place where if you toed the party line, there was applause. If you disagree, you were drowned out. Remarks on free speech. The primary problem is that if you say the wrong thing, you will be cancelled, which leads to self-censorship. That means, do I want to say this thing? Do I want to write this thing? How will this go down with that particular loudmouth who always complains about everything? Things like that are coming and in faculty's mind. Maunam Panditanam, don't say anything. Maybe that's what they need. Anyway, so these are all the doubts that are being created in the faculty's minds as they take classes. Saying anything that doesn't highlight the importance of slavery and colonialism as animating forces of history is not acceptable speech. Lived experience and ideology become the dominant forces of conversation. All of the courses follow the same playbook ideology. Ideology poses as coursework. Everybody has to turn woke. Everything that the white man does is wrong. Now they are lumping South Asians and also Asians with that. I'll come to that in just one moment. What are the causes behind the Israeli/Gaza protests? Tolerance for anti-Semitism. Whiteness at Harvard is deemed fundamentally oppressive. Indigenous people are presented as in need of justice and reparations. Jews are presented as white people. It is therefore okay to hate Israel and Jews as they are deemed to be oppressors. Israel is a rare case where we have a hot conflict between people that are deemed white versus people of color. Now there is an office called ODEIB, Office of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion and Belonging. The primary animating force of the ODEIB is racism-colonialism and the denial of indigenous rights. The ODEIB is a home of people who are perceived to have been victimized. The ODEIB was meant to include Asians, but it does not. It is focused on communities that experienced colonialism. Why? India did not, or what? India is not included because they got autonomy 70 years. These guys are just setting up rules. They wanted to target some countries, some communities. That's all it is. And you know, one of the biggest loudmouths in all this stuff is the progressive section of the Democrats. But also there are people, Linda Sarsour is one person I've heard, is some Palestinian American I heard. I think she is the main author behind the critical race theory. You have to watch Asra Nomani's videos to know what exactly Linda Sarsour does. But this has been in the making for many, many years now. And now the problem here is the groups have all come together. The LGBTQI+, the blacks of America, the woke, and they have also forced many South Asian kids, Indian American, Taiwanese American, Chinese American, American, I have to say that too, to become woke. The ODEIB is at the service of black students, to a lesser extent brown students, and to an even lesser extent LGBTQ students. It's about whiteness versus people of color. The DEI framework prioritizes people on the oppressed side of the narrative. Left-leaning faculty appoint other left-wing faculty because they get to decide whom to hire and promote. JNU, anyone? There you go. Cannot hire new faculty members unless they meet the ODEIB requirement. That is, the candidate has to be a woman, person of color, or of LGBTQ+ status. Straight white males are off the table. This is reverse discrimination if you ask me. In many cases, they cannot hire the substantially more qualified person if he is, here is a punch here, white or Asian straight male, as the proposed candidate has to be a woman or a BIPOC person. I'll give you the link to this and you may want to look up Google to understand what a BIPOC is. Discrimination is not just limited to anti-Semitism. The problems at Harvard are clearly not just about Jews and Israel. It is abundantly clear that straight white males are discriminated against in recruitment and advancement at Harvard. The ODIB is an important culprit in this discrimination on campus and the oppressed, where the oppressor class includes white males, Asians, Jews and other people perceived to be successful and hence powerful. While Harvard claims that it is committed to free expression, in practice, free expression appears to only happen behind closed doors. Now, what happened? There was discrimination at Harvard. In March of this year, Mr. Vanderweel, a John L. Loeb and Francis Lehman Loeb professor of epidemiology, a practicing Catholic, was effectively excommunicated when it was discovered he had signed an amicus brief in 2015 which affirmed his view that the definition of marriage was between a man and a woman, and when he surfaced his pro-life views. Earlier this year, Ms. Hooven, an evolutionary biologist, was cancelled and eventually forced to resign because she stated that one's sex was biological and binary on Fox and Friends. That's the show. All these things are now coming to the open because tomorrow, Tuesday, and by the time you're watching this, it will be Tuesday morning in some parts of the world, President Claudine Gay is going to be testifying in Congress about the university's response to escalating on-campus tensions following the Israel-Hamas war. You guys have been watching this thing, right? the Jewish students are being isolated and are being heckled. Sometimes they are also being manhandled. This has happened not just in Harvard, but also in several other campuses. So there's clearly a motivated racial hatred being displayed. This has no place in any university campus. The other problem, I'm told, is that whenever there is a pro-Palestine rally, I showed you where the toolkit exists, right? You've all been following that. If you go back and look at some of those links, you will see that there is a calendar. If it is Tuesday, it must be Belgrade. If it is Wednesday, it must be Australia. Whatever it is, So there is a toolkit. There is people calling you up and saying, well, you live in here. You are 3 miles away from the campus. If you need transportation, the bus will come here and pick you up. Then we will provide you. You get the point, right? So this is how this has become. Free Palestine and from the river to the sea. These are all still echoing in people's minds. People don't realize what they are talking about because the hidden meaning behind all these lines are not known to many who are joining the protest. Lots of fakery happens to make you feel as if this is a just cause. And I'm having a lot of conversations with the younger folk, and I'm just aghast at the silos in which everybody seems to be thinking and living in. You may not want to agree with my viewpoint, but at least listen to my viewpoint before you disagree. And when you disagree with facts. Rebut with facts. That's all I'm asking for. I also look for all the comments. As much as possible, I go through all the comments. And anything that I have to weigh in, I do weigh in. It's a lot of expense of my time, but I'm doing that because I want this to be a platform where free ideas are exchanged. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.